So I was listening to a video today and I heard this expression that drove me down this cultural historical rabbit hole. So here's an expression, and I don't expect you guys to hear this ever. The person presenting this just happened to put these two words together. So the words that he put together that I thought was an expression, 射御, 射御. So 射 means like shoot or fire something. And yu, this is a word that I've only heard in the context of 防御, so defense, for example, your defense capabilities of your fort or something like that. That's basically the only time I've ever seen this word used. So I looked it up, and first thing you'll get is Japan being what it is. They borrowed both these characters and put them together. But I couldn't find too many Chinese sources. So eventually I searched with the context that this was related to something before China's dynastic cycle began. So now we're going more than 2 millennia. So this is way before Christ and everything. And I stumbled on what this was. So this is part of what's called the 6 arts, 六艺. And this was before China had its dynastic cycle, before China was ruled by a benevolent emperor, theoretical benevolent emperor. China was a more fractured type of place with lots of different types of thought. You could almost call it like China had its Europe phase or its Balkanization phase. A lot of these little fiefdoms, little kingdoms were ruled by aristocrats, ruled by royalty. The children, the privileged people were expected to learn 六艺, so 6 different arts. And so the 6 arts are 礼, so customs / like ceremonious stuff. 乐, which is not my character, as in my name, but 乐 as in the music. So we have 礼, the customs. We have 乐, and then we have 射. So 射 as in 射箭, so archery. So think about it, like thousands of years ago, hunting required archery skills, and if you fought a battle, right, archery skills. So it's a very important part of someone's upbringing. So 射 stands for like 射箭. And then so 御. What is御? And I had to look this up. I'm not going to pretend I knew what this was. Before cavalry started becoming one of the primary sources of troops, people fought in chariots, right? So you can see what era this is. This is like almost Bronze Age China, but I think China had iron at this point. But yeah, like this was the chariot age. You call it the chariot age. You could call it equestrianism, but it's specifically for chariots. So chariotry, I don't even know if that's a word. But so like part of this yu was not just how to ride a horse and how to, be the driver or whatever of a chariot, but also how to fire your weapons, different types of weapons, right? You have your spear weapons, lance weapons, you have your, missile weapons, and then how to build and how to maintain a chariot. So that was all part of yu. And so we've gone over 4 already, right? We've gone over 礼, 乐, 射, and yu. The 5th one is shu, which most of you who've taken beginner Chinese know, 书 as in books. So you can think like literature, humanities, calligraphy, philosophy. You can all put that into 书. And then the 4th one is the 4th tone of the same pronunciation, 数. So 数 means numbers, but in this case, 数学, right? So mathematics. So those were the 6 arts, the 6 areas that the nobility, the scholars, the aristocrats had to learn more than 2 millennia ago when China was a more fractured European type of place. Not European culturally, but like multiple countries, multiple states kind of thing. So, 礼, 乐, 射, 御, 书, and 数. And these were called the 六艺. And the person who was making this little video blog or whatever just combined the word 射 and 御 because he was trying to talk about both of them. So he was talking about 射御. So this was a more advanced Chinese lesson, but it had sprinkled through it some bite-sized, biteable pieces for people of all levels. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. For those of you who've requested deeper dives, more advanced lessons, here's one of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. So which one of these 6 arts would you have really enjoyed? Let me know in the comments. Talk to you guys soon.